As you know, we're always looking for corners to be turned, sir. Have the Chiefs turned it? Have the Chiefs turned the corner? Kurt Warner.
You know what? I want to say yes, and solely because of the fact of how they played this game. You know, we covered the first game in Brazil, and I talked about it a lot. Like, it didn't look like the same Chiefs team, just from the standpoint is they weren't running RPOs. They weren't throwing a lot of their quick throws, and supplementing their run game with that kind of play. And that had really been their MO for the last couple years, is they couldn't push the ball down the field. So it was a lot of quick throws. That was their run game, yards after catch. And we just didn't see that early. And maybe it was because, as we talked to Andy Reid, there was a big package for Xavier Worthy, and he goes out in the third play. And so maybe they didn't have anybody that they could plug in and run those plays. But when I popped on the tape this past week, it looked like the Chiefs to me. There was a lot more RPOs and those quick throws to supplement that run game and to use Patrick's ability to get defense out of position and then just make those quick throws. A lot more wide receiver screens. And then they got some big plays down the field. But that to me is the Chiefs offense. And I finally saw it again. And so maybe it is because Xavier Worthy is back. We know Rashee Rice is a couple weeks away, and he adds that piece as well. And so I feel really good about where they are after that performance against the Baltimore Ravens. And I know a lot of people expected the Ravens to win that game just because of better roster across the board. But they dominated that football game, and they were doing what I expected the Chiefs to do all year long. So I do believe they have turned the corner and gotten back to, maybe not a perfect formula, but the formula that was a winning formula for them a year ago.
And then the corner in Houston has C.J. Stroud and that offense turned it. 26-0 win over the Titans, in which Stroud was 22 for 28 with a passer rating just a little north of 125. Have the Texans and Stroud turned a corner? Kurt?
No, I'm going to say no. I was watching that film and I kept asking myself, they won 26-0, right? Like, where's this offense? Where is it at? I thought it would be more explosive than it was. And so, the numbers were good. I still think they have issues there. I'm still trying to put my finger on, what's going on with CJ. And again, the numbers were good. And sometimes you have those performances, but I can't shake the first 3 weeks of the season out of my head quite yet. There was a lot of struggles. CJ just doesn't look like the same player that he was as a rookie, just awareness, seeing things, getting the ball out of his hands. So I'm not ready to say that they've turned a corner quite yet. I think they played a Titans team that really struggles offensively, and that's why it looked like it did. I'm going to need to see some of that against a better football team.
Okay, so have the Falcons turned a corner offensively? Have we found something with Penix that they were able to uncork on Washington, Kurt?
Yeah, here's another one that I'm not quite sure. I'm starting to wonder, because I thought they looked really good in week 1 of the season. And I thought, man, Michael Penix looks really good. And, this team could be, something to reckon with because of all their weapons. And then we go 2 weeks where he doesn't look very good. And then he comes back and he looks really good again this 4th week. And, so for me, consistency is the name of the game at the quarterback position. And that means seeing it. That means being able to work through things when your first read's not open and being able to find the next guy. That's how you have to play the position. There are going to be some games where the number 1 read is open quite a bit, and you just have to drop back and throw it. And most of these guys that are starting in the NFL can drop back and throw it. And so I can't just take one game where things just kind of worked out pretty favorably for them and say, okay, they've turned the corner. I think they've got a very simple offense. They run a lot of these choice routes and things every single week, a lot of the same concepts over and over again. And when those things are open, team looks pretty good. When those things aren't open, they don't look very good. And so I have to see some more evolution here. And I've got to see Michael work through some things beyond just his first read and those guys getting open before I'm ready to say that this offense has turned the corner. They've got lots of talent, and we see what they're capable of. We've seen it a couple times this year, what they're capable of. But then you wonder, why how do you have a Carolina game where you can't put any points on the board and you struggle? So again, not ready to say they've turned the corner. Obviously, it was a great performance on Sunday, but I need to see more consistency there.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.